Kia ora koutou, Markie here. So as you can probably tell, I'm in the dark, in a car with the camera the wrong way around, and I have the urge to do a video now. This lighting is not very flattering, is it? It's making my eyes look really baggy. Never mind. Never mind your vanity, Mark. What are you proposing to talk about? Think about other people, not yourself. So I've done over 100 videos now on retroactive jealousy, as well as a range of other things, and I think could be forgiven for occasionally repeating myself. I don't know if I've actually done a video on this topic before. I suspect I have touched on it, but I think, you know, what I'm pleased about is that I think when I have kind of covered old ground, I've done it in a different way. And because I tend to record videos when I'm inspired, and different things inspire me. So one thing that occurred to me today, which like I said, I've touched on in other videos I think, but probably not dedicated a whole video to, is the Holy Grail, the search, the quest for the Holy Grail. Okay, which is where I think a lot of people go wrong in their attempts to recover from RJ. Okay, and I think the Holy Grail, you know, the Grail quest is a really good analogy. And what I realised was that I'd kind of done a video that touches on this, but I've done it very much in terms of drug and alcohol addiction recovery. So I'm going to put a link to that video below, because I think it's just as relevant for RJ really. So just when you listen to the video, just swap over addiction to the word RJ, and it should be equally useful, because there are paths that sometimes we go down in pursuit of recovery which are, you know, completely in vain. They're cul-de-sacs, they're dead ends, they're really unhelpful. And the one that people go down with retroactive jealousy is wanting to find the same with the alcohol, and that's what the alcohol one is about specifically, is wanting to find the cause. So I've got a lot of experience of working with people in alcohol recovery, drug addiction recovery, and the ones that were fixated on why am I alcoholic didn't get well. They didn't sustain recovery. The ones that just did the stuff that we suggested and did the work and did the hard emotional work, had the courage to go to the dark places, and had an openness, they were the ones that got well. But the ones that were fixated on why am I an alcoholic never got well. And often working with them therapeutically, it felt almost like they were trying to pick a fight. You know, it's like they're often, not always, but there was an overlap with people that would constantly be trying to kind of pick holes in the therapy. You know, why do you do this and why do you do that, and, you know, where do you get this from, and are you qualified, and why, you know, kind of really, you know, quite confrontational, and they didn't get well. That was the kind of the bottom line really, and I could get pretty good at kind of telling who would recover and who wouldn't really, by how they were, you know, just by their attitudes really. It's all about attitude really, recovering. So I'm going to put a link to this video below. I'm going to keep this one quite short, by my standards anyway, and let you watch that and see what you think. But I just want to say a little bit more, just to go a bit more into the kind of common context specific to RJ. The nature of retroactive jealousy is that we think we can think our way out of it, and we think if we can kind of reach a certain place in thought or acquire a certain piece of information, then our retroactive jealousy will be cured. Okay, now that is another manifestation of the cycle of retroactive jealousy, with asking questions, feeling, you know, temporary relief, then feeling worse, having had the information, or thinking up more things to worry about, and then asking more questions. Okay, so the asking questions, that's the process by which we think as RJs we're going to get better. We think that somebody's going to say something which will resolve things in our mind. We think that suddenly one day our partner will say to us, well, you know, actually blah blah blah, and something they will say will make everything okay. They might, I don't know, they might like one of those films where they kill off a popular character and then regret it, and then they kind of turn it into a dream sequence and they say, no, it didn't happen at all, it was all just a dream and this character's still alive. That, you know, maybe one day our partner will say something to it, will say, oh no, I've never had any kind of sexual or romantic interest in anyone apart from you, and the rest of it was all just a dream, and you just miraculously feel better. That's not the nature of it, but that's the kind of the spirit of it, if you like. So if you're looking for RJ recovery, there is no single piece of information that somebody will tell you that will make you better. Okay, let go of that delusion right now. Unless you don't really want to get better, unless you just want to kind of, on some level, you're getting some secondary gain from going around the cycles again and again, and or some real reluctance to make the change. We get almost you know, a masochistic pleasure, I think, sometimes out of remaining in these cycles. So just bear that in mind. So bear that in mind with things like quick fixes. You know, always people with retroactive jealousy looking for quick fixes. So out of all the people, all the different in terms of therapy, okay, so out of all the different client groups, there's people that come into therapy for different things, okay. RJ people are the ones that stay in therapy for the shortest amount of time. Okay, isn't that interesting? They stay in therapy for the shortest amount of time. So people with depression or anxiety, they stay in therapy a lot longer. People with addictions stay in therapy for longer than people with retroactive jealousy. People, all the things that I see people about, they all stay in therapy longer than people with retroactive jealousy, because people with retroactive jealousy think somehow that in that first session they're going to get some holy grail, some magic bullet. Can't think of any other analogies. I'm sure there's some more cliches I could use for this. If you think of a good cliche that means the same thing as holy grail or magic bullet, then put it in the comments, please. So I've said this before. I haven't said it in quite the same way, and I haven't illustrated it in quite this way. I haven't linked it to my thoughts about the alcohol, my experience of working with the alcohol clients that got well and the ones that didn't get well, and I think that's you know, potentially very useful. So I hope you find that helpful. I hope you find the video that I've linked down in the description. It's not there yet. It'll take me probably a few days to put that link up. So if it's not there and you're desperate to watch that video, you bung me a message and chase me up and I'll put it on there for you, or I'll send it to you. So I hope that's helpful. I've got loads more retroactive jealousy ideas in my head at the moment, things for videos that I want to do. I've been incredibly busy, so the videos that I've done tend to be quite kind of short ones. But yeah, watch this space, there will be more. And Rangimarie.